Well, with me right now is John Frankel, who sits on the Third Mutual Board. Always a pleasure, sir.
Thank you.
And we have to mention he's dressed in a t-shirt today because he's part of the Village Games, right?
Thank you. Yes, the Village Game starts, well, the opening ceremony was yesterday.
Yeah.
And the Village Game starts today, and we have tennis, softball, and lawn bowling all starting at 9 this morning.
All right. And what are you involved in?
Golf.
Oh, there you
I
go.
don't play for a couple of weeks yet.
Okay. That's great.
And we're encouraged to wear our t-shirt.
Now, let me ask you, just out of curiosity, when it comes to golf, how do they score that for the Village Games? Is it a tournament, or you just do your round?
I think it's gross.
That? Okay.
So the best gross score wins.
Okay.
There's no handicaps.
All right. Very
Wait a
good.
minute. There is a handicap system. There are 4 age groups.
Oh, there are.
And the top one is over 90. I'm in the third one, which is 75 to 84.
Uh-huh.
Because and so I don't compete with young studs that are 68 years old.
Well, good luck to you.
Well, thank you very much.
And have, most importantly, have fun, right?
Thank you very much. Yes, it should be fun.
All right, let's talk about some of the subjects that you have here. The first one is you are part of the GRF Mobility and Vehicles Committee.
I attended 4 meetings this past week. The GRF Mobility and Vehicles Committee was one of them. These 4 meetings, I believe, are of significant interest to our community and our residents here. So I'd like to talk a little bit about them. The first one was the GRF Mobility and Vehicles Committee. We talked about buses. Now, the bus system is working very, very, very well, but primarily they talked about they did talk about the buses, but they also talked about the Plan-A-Ride system, which is now working very well. And I would encourage our residents to stop by the front desk in the community center down below, and they offer this boarding schedule.
Okay.
And you can keep that one.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Okay.
And so that's the bus system boarding schedule.
Okay, that's
and
handy to have.
You know, we have 8 buses: 1 east-west, 2 east-west, 3 east-west, and 4 east-west, and that's the schedule for those.
Okay.
Now, the Plan-A-Ride system is averaging 650 riders per week, with 95 riders a day. It's working very, very well. Our buses we obtained our buses on the grant system. And as the buses age and the grants expire, we're turning them in and getting a brand new bus. We have one brand new 9-passenger bus. Works very, very, very well. And we've got a second 9-passenger bus on order. These buses can access all cul-de-sacs, which is a real plus. The older buses couldn't do that. So please stop by, and I encourage the residents to please stop by and pick up a boarding schedule.
Okay.
There's 2 different phone numbers, by the way, for the Plan-A-Ride system I might mention. One for advance request and one for same-day request. I'd like to repeat the numbers. Sure. 268-2590 for the advance request. That's 268-2590. And for the same-day request, 597-4659. That's 597-4659 for the same-day request, and that's here. So then the second meeting that I attended this week was the VMS bi-weekly board meeting, and Christine Spar spoke. She's the resident services director, and she's working very, very diligently to enhance and improve resident services. And she has expanded the hours in the contact center, increased the shifts of the numbers of people. They move broadband now into resident services, and her focus is changing the culture. They want total focus on responsiveness, and it's very, very, very impressive. I was impressed. They got 12 people now in the call center, and last year they did 204,000 calls. 97% of the calls were answered, and the average wait time was, 1.25 minutes. And they talked little over 2 minutes to each call. And now they have a streamlined check-in process. The third committee meeting I attended was the M&C committee, and the first thing they talked about was they're working very diligently. Security staff's working very diligently on the parking issues. Parking is a problem here,
Right.
and so they're focusing on monitoring the parking use with a primary focus on vendors, and because they want the vendors to park in accordance with the rules, and sometimes they're not doing that, and they're taking spaces that the residents use. We have a pilot program for walkway lighting in the gates 5 and 6 area, and the program is working very well, and the light standards are 3 feet tall, and they have good dispersion, and it looks like this is going to be a very positive program. They'll be presenting a detailed report at the third M&C Energy Committee, and that'll be coming up here shortly. The Garden Villa Breezeway project is off and running. We're doing 3 buildings, 3 garden villas. They're running, the program was budgeted at $50,000 each, and we are removing the artificial turf and replacing it with concrete, and there'll be well-defined walkways and enhanced plant placing, and all in all, it's going to be a really, really good project. We discussed the Gate 6 power outage that occurred a week and a half ago, and staff and Brad is looking to develop a protocol with SCE on how all that happens, all that they do when there's a power outage, and they're going to try to get the SCE to come and talk to us and meet in the boardroom, and well, give residents an opportunity to discuss that subject. We have hired a dry rot consultant, and we've identified 20 buildings, and the dry rot consultant is going to, these 20 buildings are typical of what we have here in the village, and the consultant is going to do the repairs on those buildings and then project the cost over the entire Third Mutual.
Okay. Now this is beyond, because I know over the last several years, a lot of the dry rot has been done on the 3-story buildings and all. Is this beyond that?
Yes. It's hard to project the extent of dry rot throughout the entire village, but it's very, very important that we program enough funds to handle that. So this program, by projecting the repairs to these 20 buildings over all the buildings, because these 20 buildings are typical, will now be able to have a well-defined program that will eventually get a handle on the entire dry rot program. Shepherd's Crook. We have a homeless problem at Avenue de la Carlota and Ridge Route.
Right.
And staff's working very, very hard on resolution of that. We're going to clean up the landscapes, and we've contracted for 2,700 linear feet of Shepherd's Crook, which is a steel-supported barbed wire system.
Right.
And that will be installed, and at the top of the walls, some of the walls are only 3 or 4 feet tall. Right. And so this will enhance that and bring it up to about 7 feet. The city has approved that. We did a Shepherd's Crook program in Gate 11 and it worked very well. So we hope we will be able to get we will be able to get a handle on the on that issue. In fact, I see it's coming up on the screen there now.
Yes,
You're talking about it. Terrific.
Yeah, and I understand that once this gets started, it's going to go fairly quickly.
The Shepherd's Crook program will go well, and Brad has told us that they will get in and clean that landscape mess up, and that will.
And you can see there on the screen where it will be placed, and it's very obvious by the video there. somebody goes up that embankment, and it's just a tiny little hop over that wall right there.
So this 2,700 linear
Yeah.
feet of Shepherd's Crook will inhibit that.
Yeah,
It'll certainly mitigate that problem.
right, right.
Then finally, the last one I attended, which was just last Thursday, was the Landscape Committee.
Yes.
And we had 12 residents get up and speak to us. Excuse me, and staff responded to all 12 and did a very good job. And it's important, some of the speakers had not called in. 4 of the speakers had not called in with their problem. All I
Right,
did
right.
tell us that, hey, there's a problem here, but it has to be called into resident services.
Okay.
And a ticket has to be developed, because that's how we track the fixes, is on a ticket numbering system. The mowing system is now, we're now mowing it at 14 days, but as the grass starts growing and the growing system increases, we'll be down to about 9 days. We still have about 4 or 5 vacancies, but with authorized family leave system, excuse me, we have about 10 vacancies. So
Okay.
we're not totally up to speed on landscape.
Okay.
I've written a very detailed article in the Breeze, which I think is going to be published on Tuesday, about the fire risk system.
Right.
And we do have a fire risk.
Yes, definitely.
And the article in the Breeze will talk about the 2 locations where the fire risk is of most concern.
Okay.
One is along El Toro Road from Avenue de la Carlota to up the road to oh gosh, I can't think of the name of it. And the other is along the western border near Barbers Lake.
Right.
And so we're going to mitigate the and have taken some significant steps, and will continue to mitigate our fire risk. And finally, the last thing I'd like to talk about is the Arbor Pro system, which is a computer-driven
Yes.
system, which allows us to complete our inventory of all the growth here in Laguna Woods.
Yeah, it's an amazing system.
And
Yeah, it really is.
as a consequence of that, we have an ability to stay on top of tree growth. Some trees are worse than others. Oh, thank you very much. For example, the magnolia tree doesn't need to be trimmed as often as the carrotwood tree does.
Yeah.
And our tree trimming cycle is 34 months. So let's concentrate on those trees which are problem trees. And the Arbor Pro system will allow us to have a species-specific tree trimming plan.
Right.
And we will allow us to concentrate on that, and also on our streetlights, because some of the streetlights are inhibited by the trees. And with this program, the species-specific program, and streetlights intensity focus, we'll be able to stay on top of that. And that pretty well completes my week of meetings.
All right, that's a lot. Yeah. I appreciate you coming in today.
Thank
and good luck with golf coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
And have fun doing that. And
Thank you very
everyone
much.
at the Village Games. I know they have a great time.
And here's the schedule. And I'll make a copy and leave it with Stephanie.
Okay, and people can find it online as well.
Oh,
so they
okay,
can do
good.
that too. Good luck to everyone with the Village Games. Hey, thank you
Thank
very
you
much
very
as
much.
always.
Thank you very
Take
much.
care. We'll be right back.